What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast. Today is a special type of podcast, our first one of this type. We're going to be doing a deep dive of Damian Lillard's life and career, spanning from his high school days up until this past season. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. However, before we jump into that, so if you're here for that, stay just a couple minutes. We're just going to give a quick little thoughts rundown of how we think the playoffs are going. It's been a very, very entertaining first round. Personally, that Lakers game last night, we're recording this Tuesday night. That was amazing. It's been great to see Braun go at Dylan Brooks. Before I started this podcast, I just saw Trae Young hit a game-winning three against the Celtics.
Mm.
So a lot of action in the playoffs. West, I'll
Um,
throw it to you.
yeah, I was thinking we do a little fun game here to get it started. I think we should go around and for each series, let's just describe the series with one word.
Okay.
So we can start with Bucks and Heat. The word that I would use for that series is heroic. That is what Jimmy Butler is doing right now.
Backpack.
Backpack's another good one. Jimmy Butler, he's had 56. I thought as soon as Giannis came back, I was like, oh, the Bucks, we'll clean up in six. But the Bucks are on the brink.
Bucks are on the
I would just
brink.
say dream like 3-1, or is it
Yeah,
3-2 or 3-1? 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
3-1 Heat are up. No one would expect the 8 seed. Obviously, they got a little help with Giannis being hurt, but he played last game, and Jimmy Butler with one of the most insane performances I've ever seen in a playoff game. So I'll say that. That's crazy. For Lakers Grizzlies, I'm gonna say just haha, HAHA, because
One word. One. That is one word.
that is one move.
Haha.
How about ha 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 ha? Like Grizzlies. Oh, it's just beautiful seeing Dylan Brooks get humbled and all that
Ooh, that's
beef
a
he
good
had
word.
with
I'm
Dude,
wrong.
I saw a meme. It was like Dylan Brooks better download the Duolingo app on his phone because he's
So I
going
like to learn
overseas.
Chinese. Yeah, Cody
Uh,
posted a tech about that. If you don't follow the TikTok, go follow it.
um, the word I would use to describe Grizzlies Lakers is I'll go feisty.
Feisty.
Uh, that or physical because it's been really
It has
physical.
been very physical.
Um, but I'm kind of rooting for the Lakers in that series. Of course, I'm
It's
rooting for the
okay.
Lakers in the
It's
series.
okay that we're rooting for the Lakers, by the
I
way.
know it's shocking that we would. Let's go Celtics Hawks.
Ooh.
I'll say interesting
I'll say
because
yeah.
interesting. The Hawks making a comeback. They were down 3-1. Trae Young just hit a winner 3-2. They could win this thing at State Farm, tie
It's a
it up, go to game seven.
good point.
That'd be cool.
I would have said before the Hawks stole game five, I would have said blah because like we all know what he was going to win the series in the end. But now it's 3-2, or no, it's yeah
3-2. 3-2
three
going back
two.
home to
Hey, yeah, hey, as
Atlanta.
Blazer
To the A.
fans, we're well accustomed to as the if you just steal game five, then game six is an automatic win at home, and then you just got to go, and then anything can happen in game seven.
For that, I'll say backseat because I really haven't given a
Yeah,
single thing about that series.
Nets Sixers. The word I'd use there is over. Um,
Well, we don't need to talk about that one.
that
Ooh,
one.
the one I will use is um farewell because it's Mikal Bridges' farewell tour in Brooklyn before he gets traded to the Blazers.
Or is Dame
Exactly.
going to Brooklyn?
Yeah, Dame wants to go to
Let's not get.
Brooklyn.
We're not even addressing that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Last one.
Kings,
And did we?
Kings
Oh,
Warriors.
yeah, that's fine. We can do Kings
I'm just
Warriors.
gonna say poetry because it's been very entertaining. Every game's been like written
That's a good
completely.
word.
Got Harrison Barnes, the Warrior in 2015, putting on a disgusting performance, missing the game winner, and it was just it's a great series.
Such a good
Yeah,
series.
I was gonna go energetic.
I was gonna
I
go
think.
electric.
Yeah, it's
Same thing.
enthusiastic, exciting. You can throw it all the ease you want.
Synonyms, yes. Sir.
Enlightening. Okay, I'm done. But it's cool to see Sacramento fans get hype. And there's been some drama with Draymond. And who wins that series, by the way? Who do you think wins that series?
I think Warriors. I think I said in 7 originally.
I
Sticking
think I
with
did
it.
too. I think I said Warriors in seven because I
But
said
Warriors having to go into
no,
Sacramento to win a seventh game.
dude.
That would be awesome.
It's really just do you trust Sacramento's youth to come through in the big moments? Let's go Cavs Knicks.
Shocking. I'm very surprised that the Cavs are playing as bad as they are.
I'll go old school with a hyphen. I'll go
Okay.
old school.
It's about to throw a flag.
Yeah. Shot. Yeah, nice. I'll go old school just because it's been lower scoring, and every time like the Knicks are the Knicks just always play like a
Josh Hart, shout
like
out.
Josh Hart's a. I feel like Josh Hart would thrive in like the 80s.
Thrive in the 80s. Facts.
I'll say just deserved. I think the Knicks are good in that they're
Yeah.
playing hard and they're underdogs and they're getting the job done. So they deserve it. And we'll see if they can close it.
Let's go. We're missing Clippers Suns.
Yep.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
It's like after how electric the first two games were, having Kawhi now be out, just that
But like,
stinks.
bro,
Underwhelming.
dude,
Yeah.
imagine like you're a Clippers fan and you have Kawhi and PG and they just are never available when it matters.
And have they had a single healthy playoff run yet? I don't think so.
Yep.
And like low
I
key,
don't know.
if they didn't have to play the Suns in the first round and they were healthy, I think they could get to the finals.
I think if they were healthy, like
Russell
they
Westbrook's
would have,
playing well.
yeah, they would have gave the Suns a run for their money. I mean, they were proving it.
Yeah. Cody,
Nuggets, Timberwolves.
Oh yeah, Nuggets, Timberwolves.
My word for that last one was disappointing. But
Minnesota.
for this one, I'm gonna say no. You guys go first.
I'm gonna go with a gentleman's because we all know what's gonna happen tonight.
That's great. Yeah, I'll piggyback on that, gentlemen's.
The classic, just win game 4 at home to avoid the sweep.
Yeah, I'll say gentlemen's. I like Anthony Edwards' attitude, thinking he's gonna.
It's all gentlemen's.
Yeah, because I like Anthony Edwards' attitude, saying it's not over, and then he wins it in I think it was overtime last game, but it's just not going to happen. The Nuggets aren't going to lose the series, but yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the playoffs?
I think that my Lakers to the Western Conference Finals take is very much in play right now.
I think your Bucks to win the finals take is also in jeopardy. So
Oh, yeah, what did each person? Cody said Celtics over Suns. Wes had Bucks over Suns. I had Suns over Bucks.
We all have Bucks in the finals.
We
all have Bucks in the finals.
He has Celtics winning it all.
Because as Blazer fans, we don't want to see Celtics or Sixers in the finals.
No, Cody has Celtics winning it all. I think we all have the Suns. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our NBA talk. Maybe we'll reconvene at the end of this podcast. But basically, with this possibly being the last week without, probably next week too, without major Blazer
this could
news.
be the last podcast with Dame as a Blazer, considering the Brooklyn rumors. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I could say some things, but I just don't even want to get on the tangent.
I'm tempting you. That's my bad.
But with the lottery coming up, we're gonna really go dive deep into that in the coming weeks. So we're just doing a deep dive on Damian Lillard. So I am your teacher of this. A lot of us know most things about Damian Lillard, but I try to get into some deeper details and as well as just kind of just recapping his career and everything that's happened up until now, because there's things we've forgotten over time. And if you guys ever want to chime in throughout, go ahead. I encourage it. I'll have some trivia here and there. I'll have some guessing stuff. So without further ado, we'll just jump into his high school days. So obviously Dame grew up in Oakland. We all know that, the letter O. Only 3 miles south of Oracle, which I found interesting. Surprised he wasn't a Warriors fan growing up. Zero proof of that or anything with that in anything I read. But maybe you guys know this. He went to 3 high schools growing up. He went to Arroyo High School, which has 0 famous alumni. Then his sophomore year, he went to St. Joseph High School, which is where Jason Day went, or not Jason Day, Jason Kidd went. Sorry for the golf reference. And those were 2 private schools, never really played, then transferred to Oakland High School for his final 2 years, the public school, kind of where all his friends went. He mentioned on the Evan Turner and Iggy podcast that his dad didn't want him to go there because it was kind of dangerous, but his brother, Houston, actually convinced his dad to let him go. He went on to average just 19 and 22 points per game his final 2 years. You want to know who went to Oakland High School? Sway Calloway. Does that ring a bell? The name Sway. It might not.
I got 2 options. My first one would be Sway Lee. My second one is Sway from Sway in the Morning.
It is Sway from Sway in the Morning, where Dame obviously had that iconic freestyle rap, the one that is actually on our channel.
Me being the
You can go
chosen
check
one,
it out.
like this lesson in Inception, sitting known for homicide, majority to I'm sorry.
Wes knows it to heart. But I thought that was funny. I was like saw the name and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out who this is. Went
Yeah,
on to see it was him.
This is sway in the morning.
Final detail. Hold up. Final detail from high school before I'll let you jump in is he was actually jumped by 3 men. I don't know if it was his junior or senior year, but after basketball practice, they asked for everything. He said no. Fight broke out. Dame actually did a good job of holding his own from accounts, but then a guy pulled a gun on him and he was forced to give up all of his things, obviously. So if things go south there, we might never have Damian Lillard.
because he gets shot. Okay, well, anyway,
I mean,
that
a
is
gun
crazy.
was in play.
I heard that story before. That's crazy. I can even imagine, and I'm sure that situation specifically could have driven him mentally to accomplish more in life.
It did mention that like that put like a no fear mentality in him. Not to get cliche or anything, but like Dame is actually like the embodiment of like all these so-called cliche things we always say. So I believe it.
Because I feel like if an experience like that happened to you, that would just change your whole perspective on life in ways that I can even imagine. And maybe his brother or whoever he said was right in convincing him that Oakland might have not been the best choice. You know, he grew up in the place where Ja wished he grew up, but unfortunately,
Yikes.
Ja didn't grow up there. Oh, I just had to pull out that joke, but
Had to unload the clip. Oh, my bad.
how do you think of those? How do you think of those?
I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, that's really interesting. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. So when it comes to college, we'll jump to like his whole recruiting process. He was obviously a low-level recruit. He was just a 2-star on most of the recruiting websites. He was 214th in the nation on 247, and ESPN and Rivals didn't even have him ranked. His first offer was obviously from Weber State, which in fact is where he ended up going. That was in January of 2007. And it all started because his AAU coach just called the Weber State coach and was like, hey, I got this kid. And the Weber State coach was like, I really don't want to see him, but I guess I'll trust you because you're my friend. Turned out they come see him play a game. They offer him after his first game. Dame wants to commit on the spot because he's just so ecstatic that he finally got a D1 offer after all those years. He obviously doesn't, but he ends up committing to them down the line. One of his major reasons why he knew Weber State so much is because he also mentioned this in the Evan Turner, Andre Iguodala podcast, but he used to play NCAA March Madness 06 on, I think it was like the PS2, and he would choose a mid-major and try to take him to the national championship instead of like the big blue blood like UNC, Duke, Kansas. And he would always pick Weber State because they were the only school with a actual gem in the game that wasn't just like a generic high school gem, which if you actually look at their gem nowadays, it is a really pretty big gem for the Big Sky Conference. But some other offers, his final 3 schools were Weber State, Santa Clara, and Boise State. And then he also had offers from St. Mary's, Wichita State, and Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Dame went to Montana.
He could have been a Grizzly.
Could have been a Grizzly. That would have been wild. But then at Weber State, he wins Big Sky Freshman of the Year in 2008, 2009, and is all Big Sky first team, averages just 11 points, though. Then his sophomore year, he won Big Sky MVP, and he was an honorable mention All-American for the entire country, which was kind of unheard of for a Big Sky Conference player. He averaged 19 that year. Then he got hurt his junior year, got a medical red shirt, so was able to play his junior year again. And then that's when he absolutely like took off. They were 25-7, 14-2 in conference. He was the second leading scorer in the entire nation, 24.5 points, first Big Sky MVP, and was the first ever All-American from the Big Sky. So was
Teacher, I have a question. I want to know his 3-point percentage because today he is arguably the best 3-point shooter of all time behind
guess?
Steph. Guess is in college, I would say it's It's definitely under
37%.
40. I'll say 30, high 30s.
So for his career, he was a 39% three-point shooter. His
Okay.
senior year, he was 40, or junior year, his fourth year though, was a 41% three-point shooter.
Wow. So he was killing it from behind the line back then. That's interesting because when I first, like Dame's first 3 seasons in the NBA, I didn't really think of him. Like I knew he was a good 3-point shooter, but I didn't think of him to be like an elite,
hmm
40% shooter. But yeah, interesting.
Do y'all remember watching Dame at Weber State at all or no?
Tell me why I remember one game, and it was because we were watching either Montana or Montana State, and it was just like that time when, like, oh, it's the early conference tournament week. Let's watch the mid-majors because we're basketball deprived. And for some reason, I feel like I remember him playing, but I know vivid memories. Do you have any memories of
Yeah,
him from the NCAA tournament?
because he didn't go.
No, he never made the tournament, which is kind of insane.
Well,
Hmm.
that's the thing about those one bid leagues is they were 14-2 in conference, but you got to back it up in the conference tournament.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's actually so cool and like relatable that he picked or he just knew Weber State because of the video game. Like I remember we used to do that, Cole, when we would like do Road to Glory college football, and I'd
Mhm.
like pick like Utah State and try to take them and just put up crazy stats.
Off topic when it comes to the sport, but we also did that in FIFA with some
Huddersfield time.
Huddersfield. That those
my
were
jersey's
fun.
at home.
Those were fun days. Yeah, my jersey's at home
Yeah.
too. But NBA draft time. Dame goes 6th overall. The Blazers have another lottery pick in that draft, as well as a second round pick who is maybe still in the NBA right now. Can you tell me who went 11th? And then you guys want to try to guess who went 40th overall for the Blazers?
Well, I know who won 11th.
Who went 11th?
Myers.
The Hammer went 11th. Myers Leonard.
And wait, Dame was 6, right?
Dame went 6.
Yeah.
Myers went 11 and 40.
40. This is a guy that probably played with the Blazers for probably 3 or 4 years. Then he went to another Western Conference team that we matched up against in the playoffs before, and I don't even know, he might still be in the league now.
Let me guess.
He
Is it
Center or power forward?
he's like a small forward, maybe shooting
Yeah.
guard.
hold on. Is it Will Barton?
Will Barton,
Oh yeah.
who notoriously never did anything on the Blazers.
Which is sad.
But that's a really good for going 40th and still being in the league.
Yeah.
So, crazy.
If you read what the mock drafts said about Damian Lillard, most mock drafts had him slotted going to the Blazers, which I was actually surprised. I was thinking maybe we like reached for him because we thought he was going to be good, but clearly he was kind of a consensus pick for the Blazers, which is to my surprise because, and the little I remember from the Blazers back then, because obviously I remember some Brandon Roy days, but once Brandon Roy kind of started having his injuries, I feel like,
No, I was just gonna make a point.
I feel like
the
the Blazers had like 1 or 2 years in these years when I like didn't really care to watch them because it's like I didn't really want to watch Gerald Wallace and Andre Miller, but we had a point guard that I was like, why are we taking a point guard? I just for some reason remember this. It's because I thought Nolan Smith was going to be our future point guard because we
that was your
drafted him the year
UNC
before.
bias talking.
He went to Duke.
I understand that, but because you watch UNC Duke all the time, you're like, this guy's good.
Yeah, I couldn't
100%.
tell you one thing from Nolan Smith's college days. I just remember for some reason I was thinking Nolan Smith was like our future point guard.
Well, I will say I've heard that Dame's pre-draft workout was one of the best they've ever seen.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Because I read a story somewhere a few years ago where he worked out for the Blazers, and the Blazers were like, yeah, basically told him like, we're gonna pick you, and like the Blazers like asked him not to try out for anyone else. Because I think who went number 1 that year?
AD.
And I don't really know who went 2 through 5. But
I'll tell you who went 2. I'll tell you who went 3.
wait,
Bradley
can
Beal
I
went
guess?
3.
Can I guess?
One guy, and the guy who went 5th to the Kings actually played on the Blazers like 2 years later, and is connected to Will Barton in some way when it comes to a highlight play.
Thomas Robinson went
Yeah.
5. Who picked 2?
Pick 2 was Charlotte, and
Kid
this was the write-up by Bleacher Report because Nick Batum was a free agent.
Is
Bleacher
it
Report. is Kid Gilchrist. Bleacher Report goes, if Nick Batum is leaving in free agency, then Michael Kidd Gilchrist is the no-brainer pick to replace him. He's a can't-miss prospect. This man
Wow.
lasted what,
He went
4
to
years in the
Kentucky,
league,
right?
maybe? Yeah.
So they had Kentucky went 1-2 that year.
And it ended by saying, in quotes, the Blazers are due. And they got Damian Lillard, so we were due,
So
kind of like
who
we are
went?
this year.
Who picked 3?
3 was Washington. Guy still on Washington to the day.
Beal
Bradley
Just kidding.
Beal.
or Zingas, please. He got drafted by the
4
Knicks.
was Cleveland. This guy never really did much throughout the league, but he did have in the Rising Stars game, he had a moment or
For Cleveland.
consecutive moments, and like that's what everyone remembers him as, this sequence from the Rising Stars game
For Cleveland.
for Cleveland.
Frick. Anthony
Mm,
Bennett. No, I'm just
Is
kidding.
he
No.
still? What is he still in the
I
league?
don't think he's in the league anymore.
Position.
Shooting guard. He went to Syracuse, but I don't think that'll help you. I don't
No,
remember
I
him.
know it's not.
It was against Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh,
it's
Waiters.
dude.
Dion Waiters.
Dion Waiters. Good pull, Cody. Good pull.
Obviously, Myers went 11th. There's actually a lot of people that have to do with the Blazers that went here. Obviously, Robinson went 5. Myers went 11th. Mo Harkless went 15th. And Austin Rivers, who notoriously was praying for the Blazers that one time, went 10th.
He was preying on the Blazers' downfall.
Yeah, praying against the Blazers. But that's the
So Damon-
draft. Very
yeah, so he
interesting to
goes
look back
6.
on. He goes 6. That
And-
was what
and he won Rookie of the Year.
we will get to that. He won Rookie of the Year his rookie year. He took the league by storm, averaged 19, 6.5, and 3. He played 38 minutes a game and in all 82 games, which to this day is the most minutes per game of his career, which
Who
is
was second running for Rookie of the Year?
AD.
I don't know exactly. I assume Anthony Davis. But Dame was unanimous Rookie of the Year, the 4th ever in league history. And he won Rookie of the Year, or not Rookie of the Year, Western Conference Rookie of the Month in all 8 months throughout the
Wow.
season. So consistent year. He was 12th in the league in scoring, which would be 49th in the league in scoring today. He averaged 19 points a game and was 12th in the league in scoring.
He averaged
That's
19.
how
Wild.
skewed the scoring was 10 years ago.
So
Crazy.
Dame and Luke Babbitt were combining for 20.
We're combining for 20. So just kind of to start off the whole NBA, what's going on in the NBA? Can you tell me, or can you guys guess the top 3 leading scorers at this time? This is 2012,
2012.
2013.
It's got to be Durant.
Durant's number 2 at 28 points per game.
Durant.
Durant's number 2 at 28 points
LeBron.
per game. Nope, he's 4. So close, obviously, but no cigar.
Carmelo.
Melo was leading the league in scoring at 28.7.
Good guess. Harden, not yet.
He was
No,
5th. Harden
Kobe.
was 5th
On OKC
Is it Dirk
on
or Kobe?
Houston. I think this was his first year in Houston.
in 2012.
No, not
He was
Dirk.
on OKC.
This is 12-13, so
Is it Dirk or Kobe?
it is Kobe, 27.3.
On that bad Lakers team.
27.
I think the
Wow.
Lakers were still, this was
Oh.
kind of,
They were decent because I remember Dame's first career game was against the Lakers, and that was the Kobe interview. He was like, "That boy's serious."
that is in fact, he had 23 and 11 in his first game. Only Oscar Robinson and Allen Iverson have done that in the first game, gone for 20 and 10. Leading the league in rebounds.
Oh boy.
Oh, I can't guess.
We've got
Tim
one,
Duncan.
I'll just tell you the teams for
Well,
everybody.
let me throw some names.
One guy is still active. One guy's playing in China as well.
Drummond.
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard for the Lakers,
Yeah.
12.4 rebounds a game.
Al Jefferson.
Got one guy that's active. He was on an Eastern Conference team, then now he's on an different Eastern Conference team. Center, and then the other guy is like I don't know how he did this. I guess he was good at this point, but he was
Valanciunas.
no. This last guy lost to us in a playoff series before. He was on the same team as Dwight Howard. That's like tells you the team, I think.
He was on the
No,
Lakers?
like he was on like Dwight Howard was on a different team when we beat Dwight Howard in the playoffs, and so was this guy.
Oh, is it Omar Osich?
Omer Asik, however you pronounce it. 3rd in
It's
the league in
Osich.
rebounds
Wow, for Houston.
for Houston.
Who is our center? Hickson?
Well, LaMarcus
Hickson.
led us in rebounds. I assume it's Hickson. But the other guy is Vucevic. Assists per game was Rondo, Chris Paul, and Grievous Vasquez. So
Wow.
completely different league
Well,
than
it's
it is
kind of like
today.
a thing that I don't want to get too off topic, but the Dame interview with JJ Redick, the second one where Dame was talking about how it was just very different coming into the league at that time compared to where the league is now.
Absolutely.
In terms of in terms of like just veteran presence, I guess.
Yeah. And then just ending out his rookie year, this is the year he had that buzzer beater versus the Hornets. That was the first of many buzzer beaters to come.
Babbitt back to Lillard.
That was with Babbitt.
Go for the win.
With Mike and Mike on the call.
Yep.
We were
That was-
back when we watched games in the Bat Cave. You remember that?
Oh
Or
my
was that what
gosh.
it's called?
Les Schwab.
Bat cave. Yep.
That was good
Les
times.
Schwab. Remember the Les Schwab
Les
commercial?
Schwab.
I wonder what's going on in the Bat cave today.
Sorry.
Huh?
I said I wonder what's going on in the Bat cave today.
X.
So
But
good.
and then he was the first Blazer ever to win an All-Star event. Can you tell me what event he won this year? As a rookie.
Skills.
Yeah, skills
Was it
challenge.
with Trey Burke?
I don't even remember. But we
I
went
remember
30.
this fun fact. I made a video of it over the summer. First
What
player,
was-
I think still today, to participate in
Yep.
every challenge, every single one.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and jump to the 2013-14 year because that is the year you are talking about. This year, the Blazers went from 33-49 his rookie year to 54-28, the 5
54.
seed. He started once again all 82 games, so he has yet to miss a game in his career. He averaged 20, 5.6, 3.5 rebounds, and made all NBA third team. But I believe did not make an All-Star game this year, which no, or stupid me. Yes, he did, because this is the year he participated in all 5 events.
So this is the one where he won with Trey Burke and the team skills, and this was the year of the dunk contest where it was the
Was
stupid,
so
like,
stupid, like freestyle 6 people in
it was like
teams.
Terrence Ross was in it.
Like East versus West, that was so dumb.
I don't even remember
Some
who was
jazz
in it.
guy was in it. Was it Waiters? Maybe Waiters was in it.
That
Dion
was
Waiters might have been in it.
awful.
J.R. Smith, I
remember-
feel like, was in it.
I
I
feel like it was
remember
some
watching it
Cleveland guy.
live after the Blake Griffin one the year before, jumping over the car and just being so disappointed as a kid.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
And then the other main moment from this year off the court was this is when he signed his 10-year deal with
Adidas.
Adidas, and it was the 3rd largest of all time, behind what other 2 players' shoe deals? One Adidas,
LeBron. Oh, with
LeBron's,
Adidas?
and then no,
Oh.
LeBron's was Nike, and then which Adidas one? Got to think at this time. This is 2013-14.
Harden.
No,
Is
Guy-
Durant Adidas?
this guy won an MVP.
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
No, won an MVP before 2013-14.
Paul Pierce.
No,
That's a stupid guess. Kevin
I don't
Garnett.
even know whose Adidas
he
was.
has something in common with Brandon Roy.
His knees gave out.
McGrady. No, I don't know. That's
Yeah, that's
way
exactly what it is.
really McGrady.
No, exactly. His knees gave out.
Oh,
Come on, youngest MVP ever,
Derrick
Oh,
Rose.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Yeah, this is when Derrick Rose was absolutely taking over Adidas, but obviously
Derrick
this
Rose
is
is playing in the playoffs right now, and Dame isn't. So I don't know what you're talking about.
that is true. But the Blazers obviously go on to make the playoffs, and the arguably some would say the greatest moment of Damian Lillard's career happens. He hits that .9 buzzer beater against the Rockets to advance to the second round, where they go on to lose to the Spurs. It was the first series winner, first buzzer beater to win a series since John Stockton in 1997, and he did it against which team? Hint, it's the same team, the Rockets.
Wow.
Unfortunate for Houston.
Was that a Olajuwon team?
I would assume so. Do you remember watching this shot, West, live?
Yeah, I cried when Parsons scored with 9/10 left.
If I remember correctly, weren't we watching this the next morning?
We were, and of course, my mother, after I'm crying, she goes, "The game's not over." So in the back of my head, I'm like, "Oh, we probably hit something crazy," but I didn't,
I wasn't like, my brain wasn't developed enough to understand what she was saying.
You
I
know
thought
what's
she was just being a mom.
You know what sucks is, I know I'm skipping ahead really quick, but for both buzzer beaters, for Rockets and Thunder, I didn't watch it live.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
I didn't watch Thunder live, and I didn't even we watched it on recording the next day, the Rockets, so we still got a pretty genuine reaction. Thunder, I just opened my phone and it was notifications. Damian Lillard hit Wits, so it's insane buzzer beater.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
that
that's
was
how you
tough.
came across that? That sucks.
Dude, it's because
Yes,
that
because
was
I
when
had a
I'd
playoff soccer game the next
and
day.
I was doing football workouts and it was like what's called Crucible week. So I had to get up at like
Sucks.
5 o'clock in the morning and I was just like, and East Coast, man.
I remember in 2013, I went to the beach with my uncle, my family, my close family, and uncle
And
Brennan, and then we drove home from the beach. It was really hot. It was like 92 degrees at the beach, which has got to be one of the hottest days
hot as a camel.
on a Portland beach, not in Portland, in a Portland beach. So I remember that. That was cool. And coming home that night, watching it live. Don't remember specifically like what I was thinking, but I just remember it being that day, being really excited, and then getting blown by the Spurs. But great moment.
I don't remember watching a lick of the Spurs series.
I don't either. So this was the year we beat the Rockets. Now the following year, was this the Wesley Matthews unfortunate event?
Yeah, so 2014-15, we go 51-31. We are the 4 seed. And this is what everyone is talking about today. A lot of Blazers writers are saying if we can just get a team like this around Dame, we've done a good job, or the front office has done a good job. This team started the year 30-8. They were 41-19 when Wes went down. Obviously, Wesley Matthews with his Achilles injury. And after he went down,
I thought he got hurt in the playoffs.
no, he went down. After he went down, they went 10-12, and then they lost to the Grizzlies in 5. But the shining light from that Grizzlies series is it was kind of when CJ McCollum had his like not coming out party, but introduced himself to Blazer fans as a guy that could possibly be a part of the future. I literally have no details from this year. My one note is special season that is now forgettable. But when it comes to Dame, he started all 82 games again, so he is still yet to miss a game in his NBA career throughout his 3rd season.
That's impressive.
And he averaged a career high to this point, 21 points, averaged 6 assists and 2.6 rebounds, and was an all-star, but as an injury replacement. But that's all I got from this season because kind of went downhill once Wes went out.
Being really disappointed watching that Memphis series.
I don't remember watching that series either.
No,
it's weird.
Upstairs, Brandy's obviously my family doesn't have a house. Inside information there for the viewers, but yeah, I remember having a killer season and then just getting obliterated by Zach Randolph. I hated Zach Randolph. Like I was a salty
the Grizzlies were pretty
grader who
boring.
was like,
just like we hate the Grizzlies today.
I was a salty 6th grader being, I hope Zach Randolph dies. Like I don't know what I was saying, but you know.
Yeah. What a classic 6th grader does.
Yeah.
And then following the playoff series, is this when LA bolts?
Yep. In the summer of 2015, LaMarcus leaves, but Dame stays. He signs a 5-year. Can you tell me what the 5-year max extension was at this time?
180.
Like
I've got to think nowadays it's like 250.
180.
It was 5 years, 120 million.
Oh wow.
Just
I'm
8
stupid.
years ago. He's still making
That
an
new
exuberant amount of
CBA,
money.
man. The new TV rights deal is
And
just,
we're gonna have that same thing again in a couple summers.
and we'll still somehow not have cap space.
Yeah, but off the court, this is when West, I think you would know this and you would have a fun time remembering this, but he released his first single, Soldier in the Game, and he as well began his 4-Bar Friday segment on Instagram. I remember seeing that. I never really watched them because back when I was in whatever 7th grade, I wasn't really into random rappers on my page, but I do look back on it and I remember that being a pretty fun thing that Dame did. Because this is really when he started introducing his rap side to the public. But 2015-16, the Blazers go 44-38. They get the 5 seed.
Solid seasons.
They get the 5 seed. They beat the Clippers in 6 in the first round, but lose to Golden State in 5. Dame, his scoring jumps from 21 to 25 points per game, obviously with LA leaving. 6.8 assists, 4 rebounds. This is funny. His first career game he ever missed was on December 21st after playing 275 consecutive games. He didn't play in this game. CJ McCollum also didn't play this game, and it was
This is the
against
Tim Frazier game?
it was against the Atlanta Hawks, where Tim Frazier played 48 minutes. They
And we were
lose,
there.
and I wasn't there, I don't think, or maybe I was, but you were there,
I was
West,
there.
and I don't think you realized at the time, but it was pretty much a guarantee you saw Dame play when you went to a Blazer game. But of course, the one game you go to is the first ever game he ever misses in his career. CJ also misses it. And Tim Frazier plays 47 minutes and 38 seconds in this game.
Hey, sorry.
Why
Yeah.
did he miss? Just injury.
Plantar fasciitis in his left foot. He missed a couple games, but this was the first one.
Yeah. Was it
Later,
the Golden State's here? Their
yep,
first round?
later, February 19th, he scored 51 against the 73-9 Warriors in a
That-
137-105
That
win.
was the iconic Mike and Mike call. Heat check. Ooh, it's not fair.
Yeah. But I remember when I want to say back in like 2020 during COVID, I did like a bracket on Instagram of Blazers' best moments. This one made like the quarterfinals.
Wow.
So this was a pretty
Okay.
big moment of that year. Obviously, it was one of the 9 losses for the Warriors. But 2 days after that, he scored 30 against the Jazz, becoming the first Blazer since Clyde Drexler to score 30 points in 4 consecutive games, which just seems so stupid now, given the fact that he averaged 32 this past year. So he's obviously
Mhm.
broken that record countless amounts of times.
Yep.
Insane.
Since then, he broke the franchise record in threes on April 13th with 827. Obviously, it's more now, but kind of wild that in just his 4th year, he already had the franchise record. This season, he ended 8th in MVP voting. He was 6th in the league in points a game, 8th in assists per game, and the man did not make an All-Star game, which is wild. 8th in MVP voting, 6th
No
in
All-Star.
points, 8th in assists. So this is when the Dame is underrated conversation was at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Um,
Never mind.
But
I'm not
obviously, we make the playoffs. We beat the Clippers in 6. Have a little injury luck there with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin going down in that series. And then we took one from Golden State, which turned out to be pretty impressive given they were 73-9, but they also ended up losing in the finals to the Cavs. But he had 40 and 10 in that one win against the Warriors. So that's the
Mhm.
2015-16 season. The
that's-
2016-17 season. It's time. This is
this
when the
one-
downfall of the Blazers began, the 2016 summer, when we officially
Was this
said
the-
every
was
year
this the
we
give-
have Damian Lillard, we're going to put mid players around him.
Is this
Yep.
when we gave 150 million to Allen Crabbe and Evan Turner?
All right, this is what we did in the summer of 2016. We
Aminu.
added Evan Turner to a 4-year, $70 million contract. We added Festus Ezeli, who never played a single game with the Blazers, on a 2-year, $15 million contract. We re-signed Myers Leonard to 4 years, $41 million. Re-signed
years
Alan
with-
Crabbe to 4 years, $75 million.
Oh my
Re-signed
God.
Mo Harkless to 4 years, $40 million. Re-signed CJ, 4 years, $106 million.
Okay,
So-
but despite this, we were a 3 seed.
Incorrect.
Not
We were a
this
year
year.
too early.
We were the 8 seed.
On a year two.
This
Eight
is
seed.
2016-17. We went 41 and 41. We were the 8 seed. Dame, 27 points per game, 5.9 assists, 4.9 rebounds. That's some all-star numbers there. But he wasn't an all-star. He's a 7-time all-star right now. He should easily be a 9-time all-star. Not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but kind of wild that
Yeah.
averaging 27 points, he was not an all-star. Off the court, he released his first ever album. Do you know what that's called specifically, West? His first album?
First legit album.
First legit album?
It was it called Confirmed?
That was his second
It's called-
album.
The letter O?
The Letter O was his first album. He actually got the Magic Johnson Award this year for staying away from AIDS. I'm kidding. That wasn't what the award was for. It was for being the best play. It was for honoring the player who best combines excellence on the basketball court with cooperation and dignity in dealing with the media and the public. So, congrats, Dame. He had 59 points against the Jazz this year. He signed with Powerade this year, and this is also the year when we notoriously had Nurk fever, when Nurk joined the team at the trade deadline. We ended the season 17 and 6 to sneak the 8th seed. So we were not good this year. Forgettable year. I'm pretty sure we got swept by the Warriors. I didn't even put it in my notes because who gives?
So is this the second or third consecutive year we had to play Golden State.
This was
Kind
the
of sucked.
second. This was the second year we had to play Golden State. This was the
Yeah.
point where we had, I want to
I
say,
mean, everyone
oh no,
criticizes.
starting in 20 in the first time we played Golden State, we like took game 2 or game 3. We obviously lose the next two. Then we get swept by Golden State. Then spoiler alert, the next year we get swept by the Pelicans. So spoiler alert again, going into the 2018-19 season when we ended up making the Western Conference Finals, we were on a 10-game playoff losing streak at that point. So
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
wild just thinking about all that.
everyone criticizes Dame and not being able to go far and everything, but I mean, you're talking a pretty significant chunk of your career, obviously surrounded by mid players, but even with making the playoffs, having to play the 73-9 Warriors, and then the following year having to play them with Kevin Durant, and people are, criticizing his ability to carry a team, and that's when I started getting really annoyed at social media. That's when I was like peak Instagram as a kid, like I had my phone and I was always
Yeah.
looking on Instagram. That's when I was just getting mad and just confused why people would think that. But yeah, I wonder how Dame would playoff wise look, I guess, if he didn't have to play the greatest team of all time for a big portion of his career.
2017-18, he releases his second album.
Confirmed.
This is confirmed. It is confirmed. It is called Confirmed. The Blazers go 49-33. They are the 3 seed. Dame, 27 points per game, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds, all-star, all NBA first team, third time in franchise history. But after Clyde in 92 and Bill Walton in 78, and he was 4th in MVP voting. The Blazers were about to go on an absolute run. They got the 3 seed. They got their matchup. Then come the playoffs. Actually, before we get to the playoffs, we'll just touch a couple times, a couple moments throughout the year. February 9th, he had 50 points against the Kings in 29 minutes, I believe. February 24th, game winner versus the Suns, 0.9, where at the beginning of this podcast, you heard the call, Damian Lillard, you have done it again. That's where that's from.
That is low-key one of the better games I remember recalling.
That's,
Dame also had a
this is
nasty
also the
putback
time
dunk.
when
He had a
Dame
nasty
had
putback
that
dunk.
weird twist hair. Do you remember that?
He was dripped out, bro.
Cody, you remember that weird hairstyle Dame had for like half a season? It was
This was
it
the
looked like
Shabazz
little
Napier
pieces of
era.
chocolate on his head.
Don't
Okay.
remember. I bet I would if I saw a picture, but
It's the Shabazz Napier era too.
Yeah, I
Shabazz is
believe
the
it
man.
was.
Shabazz. The coffee
Let me see if I can just pull up. Oh,
I'm
here
just
it
gonna
is.
take a wild guess and say Shabazz is not in the league anymore.
That was his hair?
Okay.
No. I mean, it's not crazy or anything, but I just remember it was kind of weird. But then on a serious note, March 18th, his half brother Jarrell got shot at the Clackamas Shopping Center, which is something that we actually go through there a good bit every time we're in Portland, and you mention it. And that happened a little bit before the playoffs. Then just 11 days later, Damian Jr. was born. He has his first son, so a lot going on in his personal life prior to this playoff series, which is something my 15-year-old me had no clue. Not an excuse to get swept, but they do go on to get swept by the Pelicans, and Dame doesn't have more than 20 in any of the 4 games. So
they blitzed him. This is when they blitzed him.
This is peak Dame criticism, and it was deserved because Dame did not show up. Neither did really anyone else on the Blazers.
That's true.
But I remember having this conversation after game 1. We lose by 2, 97-95, and I was like, "Oh, Dame only shot 6 for 21 or whatever, and we only lost by 2. We're gonna be fine."
Yeah, I remember
That was the start of bad takes.
Drew Holiday was locking him up.
Yeah, Rondo was on that team. Did they have Boogie in the series or? Yeah, I think they did.
I'm not sure. I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't have mattered because guess who? The Pelicans.
Oh my gosh, they had to play KD.
They had to play KD again, so it's not like even if we beat the Pelicans, anything would have happened. But yeah, that was probably Dame's low light worst moment of his career, that series, because to do all that in the regular season, get a 3 seed, and then not even put up a fight and just not even win one game is disappointing. Not even put up over 20. That is absurd.
Yeah, that was kind of shocking
And,
because I remember him
and
having bad shooting performances, but
and I don't know if you have the
20.
stats, but like how bad was everyone else? Because I feel like after a couple games, because I don't remember the specifics of the games, but like I would have felt, pass the ball. Like did
Yeah,
anyone else
I
just
don't have the specifics, but I
yeah.
do know we got blown out in 2 of the games and then lost by like
Game
nine
three
and
and game
one.
four.
Yeah, so was a not a fun series. This is when the trade CJ or honestly trade Dame rumors kind of started.
But he
But we
redeemed
didn't.
himself.
We kept them. But yes, 2018-19. This is probably the most fun year of our recent memory, but it started off on a somber note just 3 days before the season opener. This is when Paul Allen passed away. So
Mhm.
didn't even realize it was this year. I thought it was the next year, but he passes away on October 15th. However, we have our season opening game. Does anyone remember who the season opening game of that year was? This is 2018-19. This is the first year of a guy on
LeBron.
his new team. This is when we played the Lakers and we had that, I would use the word
LeBron dunk,
legendary
Dame dunk,
back and
LeBron
forth
dunk.
Dame dunk or LeBron dunk, Dame
Oh
dunk,
yeah.
LeBron dunk. That was fun. He had 28 in that game. Season opening win. Just quickly, we went 53 and 29 this year. 3 seed. He averaged
Yeah.
25.8 points, 6.9 assists, 4.6 rebounds. He was an all-star, all-NBA, second team, and sixth in MVP voting. So that's now, I think, 3 or 4 straight seasons when he's finished top 10 in MVP.
It was
December
just
27th, he had a go-ahead 3 with 6.3 seconds left against which team? December
Golden
27th. We were
State.
watching
Golden
this
State.
together.
We were
Correct.
together.
This is the one where like he drove to the
This is
basket, passed it to Aminu. What's the call?
He's like,
Damian Lillard from the Outer
uh,
Limits.
That's what it is.
And
That's the meaner. Dame driving and hits. Damian.
and when they zoom in on the camera when he hits the shot, someone on the Blazers bench goes like this when he hits it. He was like a
Steph Curry.
if you can guess who the player is, I mean,
Steph?
insane. He's out of the league. Guard.
I mean that's most guards Dame's played with, I feel like. Tim Frazier? Is
Close
he on the
now.
team then? Shabazz?
He was like he had like a surname.
He was a what?
Like he was like the second or the third or the fourth.
Wade Baldwin.
Wade Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Wow, that would never have got it if you didn't give me that last hint. But
Yeah.
I liked Wade Baldwin.
I did too. He was cool.
That season was special until March 20, whatever it was.
Neck.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, December 30th, I just wanted to mention it. 34-point win over Philly. Dame had 15 points. It's significant because we were at that game. That was the iconic Blazers game day vlog.
Where we absolutely pummeled them.
Yeah,
this
Dame only had
70 to 40 at one point.
This is Myers pre-stream, right?
This is Myers pre-stream. That was, I think, 2020.
Oh, that was COVID. Sheesh.
Then March 7th, he had 51 in a loss versus the Thunder, but clearly that wouldn't stay the same. The loss column, the 50 piece would. March 25th, he had 31 and 12 in double overtime and a win over the Nets.
Yeah, I wonder
Obviously,
what else
as you
happened.
mentioned, that is when
I mean,
Nurk went down. We had to turn our attention at the center to Enes Kanter Freedom for the rest of the year.
And
Indus Cantor at the time.
He was a cone at defense. Speaking of, this is completely off topic, but I sent you guys a picture of it. Guess who the worst defensive rating player was this season? It was Anthony Simons. Like, I don't know. I would have never guessed that. Actually,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
But we were just
thought
saying
he was better.
Simons was like a better defender than CJ. Oh my gosh, the Blazers defense sucks booty. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, back to Nurk. I mean, we criticize Nurk a lot, especially today, because let's be honest, he wasn't the same today.
This is back when he was really good.
In 2019. But actually, like if we had Nurk in 2019, prime Nurk, I don't want to say because 2019 was a window in NBA where a fairy tale ring could have been won because
it was not fairy tale, but
the Raptors. I mean, a lot of people would argue they were the worst championship team in the last 10 years. Not criticizing them or anything, but let's be honest, KD's Achilles gave out and gave him the win. But that was the year. And if Nurk didn't get hurt. Look, we got swept. I'm not going to make an excuse for that, but you never
20
know.
point lead.
We
in
would
the
have gone
first.
to game 6 and we would have been in Portland for game 6, which I still just am so mad we weren't able to experience that watching a playoff game in the Western Conference Finals in Portland. Not even at
First
the
of all,
game.
we didn't even talk about the Thunder game winner yet.
Yeah,
How about
let's
that?
just go ahead because we've got a lot of good to talk about before we talk about the bad. April 23rd, obviously, is the day. We just celebrated it a couple days ago. It's the bad shot day. If you haven't got your bad
No,
shot shirts,
guys,
go grab it in the
I have a
description.
bad story about this day. Bad story.
Yeah, like we said earlier, I was not watching this live. Oh yes, you do have a bad story.
I
He had
was, I
50
was,
and 10 threes. What is your
I
story, Cody?
was, I was watching it live, but I could have watched it more live, if you know what I mean. So, this is me, junior year of high school. I'm in driver's ed at 5 p.m. and I'm like, Dad, can we go to a Blazer game? Because I've never been to a Blazers playoff game, and he's like, sure, we can go. And then I'm like, and he's like, when does your driver's ed class end? And I'm like, 6:30 or something. I don't remember. It was getting tight for the game though. And my dad's like, all right, sure, let's go. But as time got closer, he's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I was gonna buy the tickets, but unfortunately, let's just do it another day. So
We'll go to round 2 or game 7.
I was this close to going to that game, and our seats were fourth row where Dame hit the shot. Like that's where I was gonna be.
And did your father end up keeping that promise of going to another game?
No, I don't know what happened. I don't remember, but that was stupid.
Yeah, he I'm not gonna say that joke right now. But we move on. Play Denver. Dame has 31 in a game 1 loss.
Great series. Great series.
He plays
Dude,
57
one of the
minutes.
best series.
You could say Denver series is better than OKC.
Oh,
It was.
I think as a series as a
4
whole.
overtimes.
4
Went
overtimes.
7
Dame
games.
plays 57 minutes. He has 32 in game 6 to tie series 3-3
in an elimination game. Yeah.
in an elimination game. And then in game 7, he has 13 points,
But
10
CJ.
rebounds, 8 assists. Hits a big time 3 in the corner.
2 big time threes.
2 big time threes. First Western Conference Finals since 2000. We obviously go to the Western Conference Finals. People forget Dame separated his ribs in game 2 of that series when I think it was Alfonso McKinney like dove on his chest. But that was the iconic Myers-Leonard game. But just a really, really just unfortunate series for having double-digit leads in all 4 games in the second half. Getting swept, that hurt. But that was 2018, 2019. We'll speed up a little because now we're kind of getting into the moments present day we remember a little more. 2019, 2020 was a pretty big year for Dame though. On the team front, the Blazers or Neil Olshey saw we get to the Western Conference Finals. He says, "No, let's blow it up and change the team completely." We trade Evan Turner, Myers, Harkless for Bazemore and Whiteside. We lose in free agency Seth Curry, Aminu, Cantor, and our replacements for them are Herzonia, Tolliver, and then Melo later in the year. So great job, Neil Olshey. You have a Western Conference Finals team, and you decide to.
Unfortunately, this year, we made the playoffs, but we were the worst defensive team in the league.
Doesn't shock me.
Which is crazy.
Doesn't shock me. But Dame signs with Hulu. He has those commercials. Hulu has live sports. His third album is released, Big Dollar, the one with Moneyball and gosh, what's the other good song?
Sorry, not sorry.
No, what's the other song that I like? Moneyball and Ricky Bobby. And this is also the year that Dame drops his Shaq diss, Rain Rain Go Away.
Ooh,
I know you love
bars.
that one, West.
Bars.
Final thing from off the court. He has his Toyota thing, Damian Lillard Toyota. That's always talked about on the broadcast over and over. And now getting into the season, this is Dame's MVP season, obviously. Bubble MVP. But the Blazers are 35 and 39. They get the 8th seed, lose to the Lakers in 5.
That series was frustrating.
A ton of big moments throughout the season, though. Dame averaged 30 this year. He was an all-star.
Dame shot in the bubble. How about the 61 burger against the Mavs in the bubble?
We'll get to the bubble. I just want to touch on a couple games throughout the year because this is honestly before this past year, this is arguably Dame's best season. He was an all-star, All-NBA second team, 8th in MVP voting. He had 60 against the Nets on November 8th in a loss. He had 61 on MLK Day against the Warriors and a win on January 20th. On January 29th, he had 36, 10, and 11 for his first ever triple-double. Surprising it took that long, but then again, triple-doubles weren't as big as they are now. December 23rd, I just want to mention this is because we were in attendance against the Pelicans. Dame obviously went 0 for 10 from 3 in that game, starting the conspiracy that Dame plays bad when we go. January 31st, first game after Kobe's death, he puts up 48, 10, and 9. I remember that being a
Oh,
pretty
classic.
insane game. That was a classic game. And that started off a 6-game stretch where he averaged 48.8 points a game for 6 games. Arguably the best stretch of Dame's career. He performed at All-Star Weekend with Lil Wayne, despite not even actually playing in the game. And then more games we went to. 2 games he didn't play. Loss versus Hawks, win versus Magic. That was me and West at those. And then COVID happens.
Yeah.
And the 2 major moments before the bubble from COVID is he was selected for the cover of NBA 2K21 on June 30th, and then the infamous Dame and CJ
Finally.
on Instagram Live. Do you remember the Dame CJ on Instagram Live, Cody?
No.
Not
About
even gonna get
Jamal?
into it then. About Jamal Murray. Okay, yeah. Bubble.
I don't understand that whole thing. What happened? I don't.
We
Understand.
can tell you off air.
He just
Well, I know what happened, but I don't.
CJ just made some jokes. CJ just said that his just jokes about that situation and talking about how like his hair was looking like something else.
It doesn't matter. We'll tell
Doesn't
you
matter.
after. You'll probably forget.
You're dumb.
But in the bubble, Dame wins MVP, averages 37, 9 on 50% shooting, 44% from 3. They go 6-2 in the regular season bubble to snatch the 8th seed. The notorious performances 45 and 12 versus Denver, 51 versus Philly, 61 versus Dallas, 42 and 12 versus Brooklyn. He has 34 and a game 1 win against the Lakers, but then hurts I think he sprained his finger and did something to his knee in that series. They end up losing in 5. And then later that year, he releases another single called Kobe in September.
We won
Nice.
game 1 in that series, and
Oh, yeah.
then the
Dame
Lakers
doing his
won
little
4.
dance.
And I was mad, and I still am to this day. Anthony Davis, just the whole game, I'm just watching him shoot free throws. The whole game, just that's
it
the
was like
only reason they scored.
I think it was like 34-8 in the free throw discrepancy in one of
he
those
was
games.
just cooking Hassan Whiteside.
It was
nothing we
disgusting.
could do.
It was disgusting.
It was the most I forgot it was a playoff game at times because I was just so bored and just so I don't know, when something happens so slowly, it's like just hit a dagger 3 on us. Don't drop 20 free throws into the 4th quarter. Just slowly pull our lead away, and that series was so frustrating. I thought the refs, had something for the Lakers, honestly, but whatever.
So we obviously go out, but that was an unhealthy year. Nurk was just coming back. CJ was hurt throughout the year. Even Dame was obviously in the games he missed. Then our most recent competitive year, 2020, 2021, the big storyline from the offseason is the big addition the Blazers made. Do you remember who
Rocco?
that was? No.
Rocco?
Well,
Cody
Rocco
Zeller.
was one
Who
of
the
them.
hell
It
is
was
Jefferson?
in the draft, CJ Ellaby. We pick up CJ Ellaby in the draft.
I thought
but
it was Ben McLemore.
in all seriousness, we go 42 and 30, 6
Wasn't
seed.
Anthony Tolliver?
Tolliver was the year before. No, wait.
Also, why are you disrespecting Nick Stauskas? Like, why are we just gonna go over Nick Stauskas like that? And not even mention.
That's very true. But Dame averages 28 and 8. He was an all-star, all-NBA second team again. It's just kind of just clockwork at this point.
Also
7th in
Carmelo.
MVP. In January of 2021, he had his second and third kids, Callie and
The twins.
Kali. It's one is spelled Kali, Kali, and the other is Kalii. So
Mhm.
a little
Beast.
confused there, Dame. But then January 30th, he has that buzzer beater versus the Bulls, which was pretty
That was
iconic.
sick.
He had the game winner from like half court in the All-Star game this year. He had 43 and 16 against the Pelicans on February 17th. Then on May 3rd, I went to a game against the Hawks. He had 33 and 8, but we lost. And then the kind of fun storyline from the end of that year is remember when the fan said he bet his house that the Blazers were gonna like go over their win total and the Blazers needed to go 10-2 to end the year, and Dame responded to him on Twitter and he was like, "I got you, bro." And the Blazers ended up going 10-2, setting up a favorable matchup against.
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets, who we wanted. We wanted the Nuggets,
No,
didn't
we
It
we?
was hey PJ Dozier was out. The series was not supposed to be
Yeah.
long.
We wanted the Nuggets. Dame had a great playoff series, 34-10 in the playoffs on average. He had
No,
34
is this game 5 double nickel?
yeah, 34-13 in a game 1 win,
I think
42
this
and a
was
19-point game 2 loss, and then game 5.
I
Game
think this was
5.
I think this was Dame's best game of his career.
Oh,
If you want insight on how
Yeah, it is,
stupid
for sure.
Cole and I are when watching games, I believe this was the game I was banned to the balcony.
yeah, so this is when we were down like 15 to start off the game. West leaves because he's mad and he's just like, I just got to blow off some steam. And he goes down like, was it like by the pool? We were at a hotel and we start coming back. So West stays.
Stay
Yes,
down.
West
Stay
has to
down.
stay. And I could see him out the window. He's sitting in the dark next to the pool like this with his phone like this. It was great. And then he comes back in and ruins it. I'm kidding. He came back in like the third quarter or something once we came back. But yeah,
I remember
notorious missed
feeling
dunks by Rocco, stepping out of bounds by CJ.
just the other team shot 1 for 22 in the final like something minute or in OT. I don't know what it was.
Oh, the rest of the team. I think it was like we scored 21 points in the 2 overtimes combined, and Dame had 19 or something like that.
That just the statistics don't even make sense how
Yeah.
one man
That's
can
so
pull that
bad.
off and the other four can just blow it that bad. That just makes no sense. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that leads to possibly the scariest offseason in recent history. Dame goes on, who wins a gold medal with Team USA. He gets married. He's kind of living his life. And then he almost seriously asks out. I remember that in Montana specifically, where we were when Dame was on the verge of asking out. And then that just comes to the current era now. Obviously,
Wow.
he gets hurt 2021, 2022. And yeah, just 2 tanking years at this point. And you guys all know what happened this year, but that's a lot of information over a long period of time. But just to round it out, Dame's kind of
Kind of him. He's-
accolades at this point. He's a 7-time All-Star. He's made All-NBA first team once, All-NBA second team 4 times, All-NBA third team once. He's got the bubble MVP. He won Rookie of the Year. He's a 3-point contest champion, which happened in the most recent year, and then he's obviously on the 75 anniversary team. So
Wow.
hopefully we add NBA champion to that
I learned a
one
lot
day.
today, teacher. Thank you.
yes,
course.
thank-
If you guys liked this style of video, let us know. I really don't know what other player people would be interested in having a deep dive on, unless you want a deep dive on Yusuf Nurkic, Myers Leonard. We could have some details there. But that'll do it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something about Dame. Comment down below favorite thing you learned or something we missed. Let us know. And make sure to subscribe. We'll be back to our usual podcast next Wednesday. And go Blazers. Peace.